Hey everyone, this is Josh with Wright Piano TV. Today's video is a request, I believe, from Sweden. A man named Michael and his son have been working on finger exercises. He tells me that his son's just beginning piano, which is really exciting. Keep it up. And today I'm happy to do this video on finger stretches. He wanted to know how you can really maximize warming up and things, and finger stretches do have a lot to do with those. Just to review maybe a few simple things you can incorporate into finger exercises. If you're doing the Schmidt 5-finger patterns, you can try just playing really strong fingers close to the keys. You can do bouncing with your hand, with your wrist. And then you can take it even further with a finger staccato, where your fingers are just kind of moving like that. You know, they're doing the bouncing rather than your wrist. You'll use both in music. One way is not better than the other. Sometimes if you're like so in, I know I used this example in a previous video. You know, that's kind of a wrist movement to get that. Sometimes if you're going up fast in a scale, you want that finger staccato to kind of disconnect. So that kind of helps with the light touch. So use both staccatos. And then lastly, these are just basic ways. These are 4 basic ways to practice. You have close, forte, you have both kinds of staccato, and then just a high fingers. So you come up with your fingers, and then you curve your finger as you go down. Same thing on these. So there's 4 ways to kind of warm up. Okay, now we're going to go into the actual finger stretches that I use. They're not that amazing, but they did help me to kind of be able to stretch a little further. I can reach an 11th, so tenths are pretty easy now. Can't do them too fast. And, you know, hand size has a lot to do with it. You know, there are plenty of, I've met a lot of Asian girls competing, and they kick my butt in competitions, and their hands are like, they can barely reach an octave. So these aren't going to magically help you reach a 10th, but at the same time, these will help you stretch a little bit better, and they help your hands feel a lot looser too. I remember when my teacher first introduced these to me, they really helped a lot. And so let's take a little bit of a closer look now at these finger stretches. All right, hopefully everybody can see this. The first thing I like to do is I usually like to start where the crack in the key is just solid. There's no black note in the way. And I will just take my right hand and I will press down this key, and then I will slowly slide in, and pretty soon, after maybe a week or two, you should be able to go all the way. I was amazed the first time my teacher told me to go all the way. You know, I could only go to about here before it really started to hurt. So don't push it, but it will get there. Go all the way like that. And then take your next fingers and do it like that, like that, and then like that. So I like to stretch in my right hand on a C, and then in my left hand, just making sure that camera's aligned, I like to do it on an E, because again, no black notes in the way. So stretch right there, again right there, and so on. Okay, and then you can also do your thumb and your second finger like that. Okay, the next thing I like to do is I like to take my hand and I like to try and stretch it to have my fingers right here really go back as far as I can without actually stretching that way. So you try and invert your hand. After years of practice, you can get a pretty good curve going, but that's kind of what I like to do. And actually, you know, this feels pretty good. This really stretches out your palm to pull your fingers back as well, and it stretches all those tendons in your fingers. And then the last thing I like to do is I just like to take my fingers like this and push out with my wrists like that, so you really get a good stretch there. Those are just basic stretches I use. I don't get into too many other really hard finger exercises, like, you know, taking like these and trying to do exercises from there to there. You can really mess up your hands with those things if you're not careful. I always like to think that I warm up through my pieces. Alright, so there we see some finger stretches that we can use that help us be a little more flexible, and over time you'll really feel your hands stretching out and you'll feel the tendons get looser, and that honestly does help. That's not going to make you a faster pianist, but it will help in helping your fingers to be as loose as they can. The other thing I learned at a summer camp one time, a music camp thing, is they did a lesson on relaxing your hands and things. And they said, you know, like the dollar bill, like, you know, I need some money. You just do that to each finger and you go all the way up, just like that. And then down, just like that. That really helps as well. And just on the sides of your finger as well as on the top and the bottom. That's a really good way to kind of relax those muscles. I also just thought I'd throw this in on this video. If you have tendonitis, I once developed it in my pinky when I was playing the... It's been like many years since I played that Liszt Rhapsody No. 6. My pinky was so tight that I started to get a little bit of tendonitis in it. It wasn't in like advanced stages of tendonitis, but I don't even know if there's advanced stages. Maybe I just made that up. But it was getting kind of bad. And so what I did is I did hot-cold therapy. So I'd have a bucket of ice water, and then I'd fill the sink with really hot water, and I'd sit and do that little cash, like, you know, massaging it back and forth. And my mom made fun of me a lot for it. She said, "Oh, another practice break, time to go ice your hand again." And we like to joke around about it, but that really did cure it. I'm completely confident in that hot-cold therapy. And then also, over time, if you relax your hands, nothing should be a tense motion in your hands. Yes, you have to have structure to your hands. I'm not advocating just to be sloppy. And you can actually be quite precise, like on a Bach fugue. You know, that takes a lot of, you know, structure and a nice, strong, sharp attack, or you know, like with a gentle release. Provides a really nice sound. So you can't have that sloppy wrist. You can have structure, just don't let there be excess tension. Everything has tension if you think about it. Your vocal cords have a little bit of tension if you're even speaking. If I want to lift my arm like this, there's tension in my arm. Doesn't mean that it's a tense motion, you know, like it's like lifting my arm, but you want to keep everything as loose as you can while you have it structured. I hope that this video has been helpful and kind of a warning to not let yourself fall into the false conception that, you know, you have to do painful technique exercises in order to get good at piano. Most of the time it comes through practicing your pieces. Like etudes are great pieces to work on because they help develop your technique while learning a piece. It's not spending an hour a day on technique. A lot of people get that idea in their heads and then they don't progress musically as much. When your mind understands things, your fingers follow. I've told a lot of my students, you know, if I had Arthur Rubinstein's hands, I would still play just about the same as I do today. Just similarly, if he had my hands, he'd play about the same. I mean, there's a little muscle memory that will obviously affect it, but it's not like if I had his hands, I'd play like him. Everything's in the mind. It's your understanding of music, and as you understand things more, you'll be able to develop your mind to play faster, cleaner, more musically, hear those long lines. So search to develop your mind while you're developing your technique. I think that's a crucial and critical concept. I hope this video has been helpful. If anyone has any questions, please email me. My email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com.